Today's news highlights. Date March 5, 2025. News highlights: TSMC Chairman Wei Jia and U.S. President Donald Trump announced that TSMC will invest $100 billion in the United States to build 3 wafer fabs and 2 advanced packaging factories to create tens of thousands of jobs. Trump stressed that this move will enhance the United States' advantage in the chip industry and affect the situation in the Taiwan Strait. TSMC has received a $6.6 billion grant from the U.S. government, with a total investment of $165 billion. The U.S. side believes that this move will reduce the risk of tariffs and strengthen the U.S. semiconductor industry. The Taiwanese government has stressed that the most advanced processes will remain in Taiwan to maintain its competitive advantage. News highlights: U.S. President Donald Trump imposed tariffs on Chinese, Canadian and Mexican goods on March 4, doubling the tariffs on Chinese goods to 20%, imposing 25% tariffs on Canadian and Mexican imports, and 10% on Canadian energy products. The move will hit imports of automobiles, energy, electronics, agricultural products, and alcohol, and the price of new cars in the United States is expected to rise by $3,000, and oil prices may also rise. China, Canada, and Mexico have all planned retaliatory tariffs, with China imposing 10% to 15% tariffs on U.S. agricultural products, and trade tensions have intensified. News highlights: Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said on March 4 that he was willing to push forward with the peace process under Trump's leadership. A day earlier, Trump announced the suspension of military aid to Ukraine. On February 28, the two men had a heated exchange at the White House, which led to the breakdown of talks on strategic mineral cooperation. Zelensky stressed Ukraine's desire for peace and proposed 3 steps: the release of prisoners of war, a ceasefire in the air and at sea, and the advancement of a final agreement. Trump wants the war to end as soon as possible and said Ukraine should be more grateful for U.S. assistance. News highlights: TSMC, 2330, announced that it would increase its investment in the United States by $100 billion, and foreign investors have given buy or outperform ratings. Mizuho Securities has a target price of 1,360 yuan, predicting that TSMC will have 6 wafer fabs in the United States in 2030, with an advanced process capacity of 100,000 to 200,000 pieces per month, and estimates that the gross profit margin will be further diluted by 4 to 6 percentage points when the new U.S. factory is mass-produced from 2028 to 2031. Morgan Stanley believes that the expansion has been included in the estimate and will not further reduce the gross profit margin, with a target price of 1,388 yuan. BofA maintains a price target of $1,450 and focuses on execution and cost management challenges. News highlights: the Southern District IRS of the Ministry of Finance reminds that the transfer of pre-sold houses by parents to their children involves gift tax, and the gift value needs to be calculated according to the project money paid. If the parents have paid 6 million yuan for the project and transferred it, they need to declare the gift tax, and after deducting the tax allowance of 2.44 million yuan, they must pay 356,000 yuan at a tax rate of 10%. Although the Ministry of Home Affairs restricts the transfer of pre-sale homes, the transfer between immediate family members will not be affected. In the case of a sale, proof of payment and source of funds must be provided to avoid being recognized as a gift and subject to tax. News highlights: there will be 16x dividends in Taiwan stock ETFs in March, of which 00919 is estimated to have an interest distribution of 0.72 yuan, with an annualized dividend distribution rate of more than 10%, benefiting 1.069 million investors. Dahua Yali pays a high interest of 30 and a dividend of 0.7 yuan, focusing on AI, shipping and aviation, and expects the recovery of the AI industry and the total economy to drive market performance. The legal person suggests that the Taiwan stock market can be arranged on a dip, and the long-term growth can be expected. News highlights: Apple has launched the new iPad Air, equipped with the M3 chip, which is twice as efficient as the M1 model, and is available in 2 sizes, 11-inch and 13-inch, priced at 19,900 yuan and 26,900 yuan respectively. The basic iPad is upgraded with the A16 Bionic chip, which increases the performance by 30%, and the minimum storage is increased to 128 GB, with the price starting at 11,900 yuan. The new model is available for pre-order in some regions, and the time in Taiwan is to be determined. News highlights: Wang Delo was suspected of evading military service by spending millions of dollars to buy fake medical records, and was released on bail after being reinterrogated by the prosecution. 10 days before enlisting in the army, he and his girlfriend Mu Xian drank and had fun at a barbecue restaurant and went home for the night. Unexpectedly, he was detained by the police in the early morning of the next day for attempted murder. Prosecutors found him suspected of abetting the killings and instructed someone to beat a taxi driver in April last year. After 7 hours of interrogation, Wang Delo was prosecuted for instigating injury and other crimes, and was given bail of 5 million yuan. News highlights: Xiao Shushan and Liang Swanan have been married for more than 7 years, although in the face of Liang Swanan's alleged sexual assault, the relationship between the husband and wife seems to be unaffected, but today Xiao Shushan issued a statement on Facebook emphasizing that the husband and wife are two independent individuals, and each other's actions have nothing to do with their careers. She said that whether she or Yang Swanan caused trouble or did something, the person concerned should be responsible, and stressed that she did not want to be misunderstood or implicated because of the relationship between husband and wife, called on the outside world to respect their independence, and made it clear that all disturbances should stop here. News highlights 33-year-old actor Wang Delo has recently fallen into controversy again, and after allegedly spending millions to buy fake medical records to evade military service, he recently instigated violence because of a quarrel with an Uber driver. The incident occurred in April last year. Wang Delo argued with the driver because of his dissatisfaction with the Tesla car, and later asked his friend Yu Xiongmin to retaliate, and Yunnan hired someone to beat the driver and take a video. After the prosecutor's investigation, it was found that Wang Delo had shown off the matter to his friends, and arrested him on suspicion of instigating harm with Yu Xiongmin. Wang Delo paid bail of 5 million yuan, and Yu Xiongmin was detained and forbidden to see him. News highlights recently, photos of the suspected recall of legislator Li Yangziu's group Gang Hyudeshan holding a spring wine have been circulating on the internet, which has aroused questions from the Kuomintang. The Kuomintang pointed out that the group had previously been suspected of illegal fundraising through the platform of the Gongma of the Tuition Fund, and spent as much as 9,680 yuan on the spring wine banquet, which was criticized. The KMT also mentioned that, similar to the Keelung recall case, the group's fundraising flow has not been made public, and it has not fulfilled its promise to donate the remaining money. There are also allegations that the group has instructed its supporters to hand over cash to volunteers to circumvent the regulation of the political contribution law, which the KMT has described as a political scam show. The KMT called on the DPP authorities to take action against such illegal fundraising, rather than turn a blind eye. News highlights 33-year-old actor Wang Delo was recently paid 150,000 yuan in bail for allegedly evading military service with a fake medical certificate, and recently fell into controversy again because of a quarrel with an Uber driver. Wang Delo got into an argument with the driver over a question about the vehicle, and complained to his rich second-generation friend Yu Xiongmin. In order to avenge Wang Delo, Yunnan found someone to beat the driver and recorded the process. After the prosecutor investigated, they were charged with instigating harm and other crimes, and they were told to the court that they would not be seen. According to the lawyer's analysis, if Wang Delo can properly use the litigation strategy, he may have the opportunity to obtain a non-prosecution disposition. News highlights KG Unming broke the news on a radio program that DPP legislator Wang Shijian secretly recorded the recording at the Central Standing Committee and provided the recording to Zhongqian for live broadcast, questioning his loyalty. In addition, KG Unming criticized Wang Dingye for joining forces with Su Qiaxin and Ma Wenjun to oppose the national defense budget, which violated party discipline. He pointed out that Wang Dingye claimed to follow the main resolution when he explained, but K believed that he had not answered honestly and chose not to make the internal dispute public. News highlights actress Mai Sato's marriage to her ex-husband Wang Quanren will end in 2023, and she revealed the reason for the marriage change for the first time. Mai said that after having a child in the first year of marriage, she neglected her husband's emotional needs because she took care of the child wholeheartedly, which led to a cold relationship. After 3 years of marriage, Wang Quanren often did not return all night, and Mai chose to take the children back to Japan. After the divorce, the relationship between the two gradually improved, and now Mai said that she wanted to start a new relationship, but because she was busy with family and work, she had no time and forgot how to fall in love. News highlights Taiwanese singer Cao Yan was recently harassed by fanatical fans, who not only sent threatening messages, but also stopped her at the station and tried to snatch her luggage, causing her to panic. Although she was reported to the police, the harassment continued, even affecting her daily life, making her afraid to go out alone. Cao Yan said that her parents also prepared chili water to protect themselves because they were worried. Tai Ziwan called on fans to chase stars sensibly, and hoped that the case could enter the judicial process as soon as possible. News highlights Keiza has recently made new progress in her relationship. She is dating the rich second-generation Hank Xiao, and the two were photographed watching the concert together and clasping their fingers, which Keiza generously confessed. Hank Xiao is a young talent with a successful career, who once gave up a high-paying job in the United States to return to Taiwan to start a business. Keiza also has new trends in her acting career, actively participating in public welfare activities and is expected to participate in Stephen Chow's movie Women's Football. After this relationship and Keiza's past emotional entanglements, her comeback shows that she is gradually returning to the entertainment industry. News highlights Fang Datong died of illness on February 21 at the age of 41, and his body was cremated in Dali, Yunnan. After receiving the news, the beloved apprentice Wang Xian rushed to Yunnan to meet Fang Datong's mother and express condolences. She wrote "I love you always and forever" in the IG limit, and revealed that on behalf of everyone, she hugged Fang's mother, encouraged everyone to cheer up and continue to do what they should do, learn from Fang Datong's kindness, hard work, and selfless spirit, and let his music and spirit live forever. News highlights artist Wang Delu was involved in a case with the rich second-generation Yu Xiongmin after his mobile phone was seized on suspicion of desertion. The police found that the two had beaten the Uber driver last year, and Wang Delu was detained on suspicion of abetting injuries and other crimes, and paid bail of 5 million yuan. Yu Xiongmin was detained in connection with the case. Yu Xiongmin's family is engaged in the import of second-hand cars, and has a close relationship with political and business celebrities, and he has a wide range of contacts and acquaintances with many people in the entertainment industry, including Wang Delu, Ke Zhendong, etc. News highlights Hui Jiahao, who once became famous for his participation in the game show 100 Battles and Wins and the operation of a gym 300 Heroes, recently announced the closure of this gym due to business difficulties. Hui Jiahao revealed that after he delegated management authority to employees, the gym caused the company's financial difficulties due to employees floating courses and other deficit behaviors. Even if the commission system was adjusted, it still could not reverse the situation, and eventually sold the 2 branches of the gym to other fitness groups. However, after the termination of his cooperation with the Iron Fitness Group, he was threatened and issued a non-suicide statement, saying that he is currently facing great pressure and difficulties, and lamenting that he has never failed in life. News highlights Huang Zijiao has faded out of the entertainment industry since the Me Too incident in 2023, and his wife Meng Zhengru has also suspended work. Although Wu Zongxian criticized Huang Zijiao at the wedding, some readers recently witnessed Huang Zijiao and Meng Zhengru appearing in the 3 gorges of New Taipei City with their daughter, spending the afternoon in a cafe unabashedly and happily, with smiles on their faces, showing that the couple seemed to have come out of the low ebb. Huang Zijiao was wearing pink clothes, which was particularly eye-catching. News highlights 33-year-old actor Wang Delu was recently arrested for forging documents and deserting, and then it was revealed that he was suspected of instigating a rich second-generation friend surnamed Yu to beat an Uber driver. The incident occurred in April 2024. Wang Delu and the driver had a verbal dispute, and later Yunnan found someone to beat the driver and passed the violent video to Wang Delu. Wang Delu mistakenly thought that Yun was seriously injured, and also showed off the film. The prosecutor discovered the incident during the investigation of the desertion case. Wang Delu was charged with instigating injury and other crimes, and paid bail of 5 million yuan, while Yunnan was detained. News highlights 48-year-old actress Xiao Shushan issued a statement on Facebook in the early hours of this morning, strongly cutting off her husband Liang Xianan, clarifying that the two are completely independent in their careers and interpersonal relationships. She stressed that Liang's actions had nothing to do with her, and expressed that she did not want to hear any more misunderstandings or gossip that were unclear because of the relationship between husband and wife. Xiao Shushan bluntly said that she and Liang Xuanan are independent, and no longer accept any remarks that put the responsibility on the other party. In the end, she emphasized her bottom line, and made it clear that there is a debtor who is wronged, and whoever makes trouble should find whom. News highlights Chen Ziwen, the former gold warrior, fell into a trough due to the match-fixing case, and his investment in the catering industry was repeatedly frustrated, and even fell out with investors. Last year, he and his wife Lin Ziyukan invested in Hong Kong-style tea drinking and worked as a waiter in person, but they were boycotted by netizens due to the fake card controversy and the match-fixing case, and were finally expelled. Now he has changed his career to work on the construction site and work hard for his family, and his wife emotionally supports. "Thank you for shouldering the sweet burden," and Chen Ziwen responded, "No matter how hard it is, we will have it." News highlights Wengzhen Forest Park, Taichung City, had a fatal case this morning, and the morning transport people found a 28-year-old woman surnamed Lin who had lost signs of life and called the police in fright. The police arrived at the scene to confirm that the woman had obviously died, and there were no signs of a fight in the preliminary investigation, and external forces were ruled out, and the family was contacted, and the prosecutor was reported to the prosecutor for an examination to clarify the exact cause of death. News highlights Mai and Formosa Plastic's eldest grandson Wang Quanren announced their divorce in 2023, and recently said in an interview that the two gradually drifted apart after marriage due to the imbalance in the division of labor in childcare, and finally could not save their marriage. After getting married in 2014, Wang Quanren frequently did not return, and Mai raised her son alone in Japan, and the marriage lasted only 1 year before a rift. However, she revealed that the relationship has improved after the divorce, and they will still discuss children's education together, believing that divorce is not necessarily a bad thing. News highlights music genius Fang Datong passed away due to illness on February 21 at the age of 41, and the news shocked fans. Fang Datong has been a vegetarian for many years and rarely falls ill, but some TCM practitioners speculate that his death may be related to overwork and eating habits. Experts pointed out that he was thin and suspected to be related to primary pneumothorax, and stressed the importance of dietary nutrition and environmental adaptation. Regardless of whether you are a vegetarian or not, health still needs to take into account the diet, work, and rest and life stress. News highlights in recent years, fraud has been rampant, and lawyer Lin Heekan reminded that if a friend sends a link online, saying that children need to like and support for the competition, they must refuse, because many people have been stolen because of this. The scammer first chats with the victim to reduce their vigilance, and then induces them to click on the link and enter the account password, and the account is then compromised or even compromised. Experts recommend that any screen that asks for an account password should be vigilant to avoid being scammed. News highlights: in the early morning of the 4th, a 20-year-old female rider surnamed Chen fell and was slightly injured because she accidentally ran over the python crossing the road. The python is about 2 meters long and 15 centimeters in diameter, and it can still crawl away after being run, which makes the knight exclaim, "Luck is too special." The police and the Agricultural Bureau followed up and finally succeeded in catching the python. The police reminded that you must pay attention to the road conditions when driving at night, and if animals affect traffic, you can call the 1959 Animal Protection Hotline for help. News highlights: Democratic Progressive Party legislator Chen Tingfei claimed on the 4th that she had received a threatening text message to the police and was worried about her mother's safety. Chen's office accused Lin of being a special assistant to legislator Lin Zhongxian, causing controversy within the party. Guo Quan, chairman of the party department, criticized Chen for using inspection and investigation resources to intimidate those who did not support it, saying that the crude methods were counterproductive. Lin Yuan denied the intimidation, saying that the content of the text message was only an expression of political opinions, emphasizing that he was still a loyal supporter of the DPP. News highlights: TSMC recently announced an increase in investment of $100 billion in the United States, which has attracted attention from all walks of life. Foreign analyst Yang Yingchao believes that this move is commercially unreasonable. Because of the high cost and lack of labor and materials in the United States, TSMC should fight with the United States to avoid being bullied to the end. He is worried that after the United States obtains the technical secret recipe, it may affect TSMC's competitiveness. Some netizens are worried that after the United States controls the chip market, global chip prices will soar, and high-end electronic products may become more expensive and difficult to obtain in the future. News highlights: the Legislative Yuan held an election for the convening of the Standing Committee today, and the Judicial and Legal Affairs Committee originally preferred Wang Xiaoling to serve as a member of the Standing Committee, but after coordination, Wu Zongxian was re-elected. Fu Kunking, the chief minister, stressed that the party is united, and this adjustment is to reduce the conflict and promote the People's Livelihood Bill. Wu Zongxian said that the caucus wanted him to continue to serve as a member of the committee, and did not involve other special intentions. Wang Xiaoling said that she was happy to see Wu Zongxian continue to take office, and she would focus on promoting the bill, and she had no grievances. News highlights: Wu Darren, a professor of economics at Cheng'an University, criticized TSMC for conducting investment negotiations alone without consulting with the United States through the Taiwan government, resulting in Taiwan losing bargaining chips and striving for substantial benefits. He worries that TSMC's heavy investment in the United States could weaken Taiwan's economy, labor market and manufacturing base, and negatively impact Taiwan's future private investment and employment opportunities. News highlights: artist Wang Dele caused controversy on suspicion of falsifying medical certificates to desert soldiers, and last night he was dissatisfied with the Uber driver's detour and poor attitude, and beat the driver with others, and was detained by the prosecutor and banned from seeing him, and paid a bail of 5 million yuan. Wang Dele became famous for his film My Girlhood and moved to China for development, but the recent cases involved have attracted media attention in Hong Kong and mainland China, and may affect the progress of the 3 dramas and 2 films to be broadcast. The broker's response is being understood. News highlights: Taiwan's emergency medical plight was exposed, and it was difficult to recruit residents at National Taiwan University Hospital, and Liu Piran, vice president of National Taiwan University, proposed that the Taiwan authorities stipulate a salary range, but was criticized by the labor union. Chen Weigong, honorary director of the Association of Emergency Medicine, pointed out that the declining birth rate and aging population have caused the emergency department to face a shortage of labor, and the emergency department is the first line to reflect medical fairness, and the payment system should be adjusted to give doctors reasonable treatment to avoid brain drain. The high cost and low health insurance payment of emergency departments have affected salaries, and it is called for health insurance payments to be adjusted to improve the medical situation. News highlights: the Kuomintang proposed to make 10,000 yuan in cash 10,000 yuan, which was overtaxed last year, and to amend the law, stressing that if it is not effectively used, it should be shared by the whole people. The executive premier, Chuk Wing-tai, said that it would develop in this direction, but stressed that the use of fiscal resources needs to be planned in the long term and avoid becoming a fixed model. The People's Party supports the use of universal cash to repay debts after repayment, while the Democratic Progressive Party opposes the normalization of universal cash and advocates giving priority to social welfare and defense, and questions whether compulsory legislation is in line with constitutional principles, calling for rational consultation between the government and the opposition. News highlights: Cao Kitai, a 61-year-old well-known host, has moved to Shanghai in recent years and rarely appears in front of the fluorescent screen. He recently opened a live broadcast to write brush words, revealing that he had a stroke on Chinese New Year's Eve this year, and lamented that this may be the last time he writes. Cao Kitai recalled his past studio life and wrote the word neighbor to his neighbors. He once hosted classic variety shows such as Serial Bubble, and married Xia Lingling, becoming the ancestor of sister and brother love in Taiwan's entertainment industry. In 2004, he moved to Shanghai due to a low career and has paid off his debts and is now living a happy life. News highlights: the king of golden songs, Fang Datung, died of illness last month at the age of 41, and the news made friends in the circle reluctant. The former female disciple Melodia Kong Yuxian posted a message of condolences in the community and wrote the last letter to Fang Datung. Kong Yuxian recalled the meeting with his mentor at the end of last year, and talked about his new song that touched fans. She said that Fang Datung was still actively treated during his illness, which made her think that he would recover, but she did not expect to be the last side. Kong Yuxian said sadly that Fang Datung is not only a teacher, but also her bull, and believes that Fang Datung will always exist in her soul. News highlights: according to research published in JAMA Network Open, a variant in the CYP1A2 gene for caffeine metabolism may be associated with an increased risk of kidney function in certain populations, especially those who consume more than 3 cups of coffee per day. Studies have shown that the risk of kidney dysfunction in these populations is 2.7 times higher than that of normal metabolizers. Mutations in the CYP1A2 gene cause caffeine metabolism to be slower, which in turn increases the risk of renal impairment and hypertension. In addition, Asian people have a lower tolerance to caffeine due to genetic differences, so attention should be paid to caffeine intake. News highlights: this morning, 5th, the Legislative Yuan held an election of 8 standing committees, and as a result, the Democratic Progressive Party won 8 seats, the Kuomintang 7 seats, and the People's Party 1 seat. The Kuomintang conceded to the People's Party in the Transportation Committee, with Lin Qiuchen as a member of the committee. The number of seats on the other committees is shared between the two parties. This election is crucial for the government and the opposition to wrestle, and it involves the right to decide the agenda. News highlights: Ke Jianming, the chief of the Democratic Progressive Party's Legislative Yuan, recently broke the news of internal contradictions, accusing Wang Dingyu and the Blue Battalion of working together to cut the national defense budget, and questioning Wang Shijian's disloyalty to the party. Ke revealed that Wang Shijian had announced the content of the questions outside the Central Standing Committee, and said that he did not admit that he belonged to Lai, and also recorded and broadcast the party meeting live. In response, Wang Dingyu responded with strong denial, criticized Ke's accusations as untrue, and was worried about Ke's physical condition, believing that he might have cognitive problems. News highlights: Kuomintang City Councillor Ling Tao was recently revealed to be suspected of sexual harassment and marital infidelity, and it is rumored that he has repeatedly sent intimate photos and video shows on social media. In this regard, Ling Tao strongly denied it and said that he would file a lawsuit. Kuomintang Dawan City Councillor Zhang Jiangkan accused the DPP and the Green media of attacking Ling Tao, believing that this move was to divert attention and avoid the impact of TSMC and US semiconductor company news on the DPP. He criticized the DPP for capitulating to the United States and worried about Taiwan's future. News highlights: the Board of Directors of Nangang, 2101, approved the distribution of cash dividends of 0.5 yuan per share on the 4th, with a potential cash yield of only 1%, causing market disappointment and the stock price fell by more than 4%. Despite the significant growth in full-year revenue and after-tax net profit, the dividend payout ratio was only 14%. On the other hand, Datung, 2371, announced a cash dividend of 2.95 yuan per share, with a yield of about 7%, driving the stock price to rise sharply by 6%. Cosmos paid its first dividend in recent years, and its revenue and net profit increased significantly. News highlights: TSMC, 2330, announced on the 4th that it would increase its investment in the United States by $100 billion, which attracted the attention of the industry. Although Intel-related issues were not discussed, there were still rumors in the industry that the United States might ask to assist Intel, but Intel said that its technology is not lagging behind TSMC. The analysis of the legal person pointed out that TSMC's latest announcement did not specify the investment schedule, showing that the company still retains flexibility. U.S. investments are expected to dilute margins, but long-term shareholder returns can still grow. TSMC has a solid cash flow and is expected to be able to support long-term investments in the future. News highlights: in his address to Congress on Tuesday night, U.S. President Donald Trump said that despite the challenges facing the U.S. economy, the nation's momentum has returned and stressed that the American dream is thriving. He defended his tariffs and announced plans to build new gas pipelines and expand mineral production, which he said would bolster domestic industry. Trump also mentioned that the government's actions help address issues of concern, such as egg prices and energy costs. He stressed that the foreign tariff policy will treat other countries equally and equally. News highlights: Qualcomm CEO Eamon said in an interview with U.S. media on the 4th that TSMC promised to invest more than $100 billion to expand manufacturing in the United States, which is good news for the semiconductor industry and can provide more chip manufacturing locations. He pointed out that some of Qualcomm's chips are already being produced at TSMC's Arizona plant, and there will be more chips made in the United States in the future. Regarding Trump's tariff policy, Ammon believes that the impact of long-term technology trends will outweigh short-term tariff uncertainty, and emphasized that major upgrades in areas such as AI and smartphones, PCs, and automobiles will boost Qualcomm's business. News highlights: the group for the recall of Kuomintang legislators today launched the second phase of the operation, which was attended by CAO Xingcheng, Shi Zhihua, and others. The two leaders refuted the controversy, emphasizing that they were not afraid of being vilified, and said that they would turn their anger into strength to continue to promote the recall campaign. DPP legislator Shen Boyang also strongly supported it, saying that civic groups are driving the process. The Kuomintang, KMT, fought back, accusing the recall group of illegal fundraising and questioning the funding of the recall group. With the start of the second phase, both sides will further intensify their offensive and defensive efforts. News highlights: actress Xiao Shushan issued a statement this morning, emphasizing that she and her husband Liang Swanan are completely independent individuals in their careers and interpersonal relationships. She pointed out that in the past, there were some misunderstandings and gossip due to the relationship between husband and wife, which affected the work of the two and their friends. Su stressed that both she and Leung should be responsible for any controversy or issue, and called on everyone to stop linking the actions of the two to each other. She said that she would no longer respond to the outside world, and revealed that the two were not divorced and that she was fine. News highlights: South Korea's Dear's K-pop fan platform Bubble announced today that Bubble for Blissu, an exclusive chat room for Blackpink member Jisoo, will be discontinued on April 10. As of March 6, fans will no longer be able to purchase Bubble tickets and coins, subscription auto-renewals will be cancelled, and no additional purchases or renewals will be possible. Until April 3, fans will no longer be able to receive or respond to Jisoo's messages, purchased paid items will no longer be available, and chat logs will be retained until the end date of the service. The service will be removed from the App Store on April 10. News highlights: TSMC announced an additional $100 billion investment in the United States to expand wafer fabs, advanced packaging fabs and R&D centers, which will affect the competitiveness of Taiwan's semiconductor industry. Although this move is the best option to deal with geopolitical pressures, the irreplaceability of Taiwan's semiconductors is gradually being weakened, especially in advanced packaging technology. In the future, Taiwan needs to strengthen talent training and R&D capabilities in order to maintain its global competitiveness and avoid losing its important position in the semiconductor field. News highlights: in 2025, the number of words in the Government Work Report of China's 2 sessions will increase to 130 words, a significant increase compared with the previous 2 years. The report stresses the need to firmly advance the great cause of the motherland's reunification and removes the expression peaceful reunification, indicating a tougher attitude toward Taiwan. The mainland stresses the One China principle, the 92 consensus, and opposes Taiwan independence, and points out that if Taiwan independence forces challenge China's interests, they may adopt non-peaceful means to promote reunification. This statement has a profound impact on the future development of cross-strait relations. News highlights: 7 social housing properties in Taipei City will be rented from March 5, 2025, and the application period will be until March 19. Applications can only be made by registered mail, and unregistered applications will not be accepted. Applicants must meet certain qualifications, including not owning a home and having an annual household income below a certain standard. The rent will be subsidized according to the annual income of the family, and it will vary according to the type of room and the number of pings. Applicants should note that those who pass will be placed on the waiting list in the order of mailing time and will be notified when there is a vacancy. News highlights: Andrei Karpathy recently released an instructional video on how to effectively use large language models, LLMs, such as ChatGPT and Claude. He emphasized that large language models are trained based on network data and are suitable for solving different problems, and suggested that users choose the right tools according to their needs. He shared how to use inference models, web search, in-depth research, and other functions, and introduced personalization techniques, such as memory functions, to help models understand user needs more accurately. This video provides valuable advice for heavy AI users. News highlights: Dr. Zhang Kunjun has been the vice president of Zhongli Tianxiang Hospital since March this year, attracting more than 200 patients on the first day of consultation, from 1 p.m. to 10 p.m., with warm and professional service. He had been controversial about the affair and sexual harassment, but he and his wife issued a statement denying the allegations and stressing that the family was in good shape. After his transfer, he continued to uphold his passion and responsibility for medical care, and strive to provide quality services to every patient. News highlights: a death case occurred at about 6 o'clock in the morning of Wengzhen Forest Park, Nantun District, Taichung City today, 5, and a 28-year-old woman was found on the slope behind the MRT station by the morning transport people, leaving no letters. The preliminary investigation by the police ruled out homicide. There was no trace of external intervention at the scene. The identity of the woman has been confirmed, and the family is coming from the north. On May 26 last year, a similar incident occurred in Wengzhen Forest Park, where a 29-year-old man's body was displayed in the woods. News highlights: Mexican police recently found 9 dismembered bodies on the side of the highway, with gunshot wounds and signs of abuse on the victims, suspected to be the 9 students who disappeared last week. The police received a report on the 2nd that 9 bodies were found in abandoned cars on the border between Puebla and Oaxaca, of which 4 were stuffed into the trunk and 5 were hidden under tarps. The medical examiner pointed out that the victim, aged between 19 and 30, was a student from the state of Tlaxcala and disappeared after a vacation on February 27. Investigation is ongoing and police did not disclose further details. News highlights: artist Wang Dalo today, 5th, paid a bail of 5 million yuan, involving a case of injury. The incident originated in April 2024, when Wang Dalo and the Uber driver had an argument in the car due to suspicion of deterring, and when Wang Dalo got out of the car and found that the key was left in the car, he tried to open the door to get the key but could not open the Tesla door, resulting in another conflict with the driver. Wang Dalo then complained to his friend Yunnan, who instigated others to stop the car in New Taipei and beat the driver. The matter was discovered by the New Taipei prosecutor on Wang Dalo's mobile phone and he was detained for investigation. News highlights: a female netizen said on guard that she used to use Line to record important information in a group, but every time she retrieved the wrong message, the window would display "You have recovered the message," which made her feel that the screen was cluttered and asked how to delete the record. Netizens responded that if it is their own chat room, they can directly press and hold the message to choose to delete it and avoid using the recall function. If you are talking to friends and relatives, the delete function will only clear the message on your own end, and the other person's side will not disappear. News highlights today, 5th. The Meteorological Department has issued a special report on heavy rain in 20 counties and cities, and the meteorological anchor Wang Shulai reminded that the rain may continue until the evening, and it is recommended that people bring rain gear. After the front passes over Taiwan, there will be heavy rain in the north and northeast, which may be accompanied by lightning strikes and strong gusts. The northeast monsoon strengthens with daytime temperatures of around 19 to 29 degrees and nighttime temperatures dropping to 14 to 20 degrees. Temperatures are expected to drop significantly in the coming days, and heavy rainfall is possible, so people should pay attention to weather changes and adjust their clothing in a timely manner. News highlights: artist Wang Dalo was suspected of instigating a friend to beat an Uber driver, and was detained by the prosecutor and ruled today, 5th, to pay bail of 5 million yuan. The incident originated in April 2024, when Wang Dalo and the driver had a verbal altercation in the car, and soon after finding out the driver's personal information through Yunnan, he found someone to beat the other party. Wang Dalo had also been involved in a case of military service evasion and was bailed for 150,000 yuan. The prosecution believes that Wang Dalo is suspected of instigating harm and violating the personal information law, and the suspicion is serious. News highlights: US President Trump delivered his first congressional address on the 5th, touting that it would take years for him to complete other administrations in 43 days in office, criticizing the Biden administration as the worst in history, and declaring that he would lead the United States into a golden age. He stressed the need to end diversity policies, restore free speech, and support Taiwan's semiconductor industry. He expressed dissatisfaction with the Ukrainian issue, arguing that the United States should not take too much responsibility. In his speech, Trump revived manufacturing, emphasized America first, pledged to fight for American citizens, and called for a golden age for the United States. News highlights: Huang Xiaoxi, the son of former professional baseball legend Huang Zhonggai and former Unified Lions infielder, was accused of drugged sexual assault by female fans and threatened retaliation. The woman said that after meeting Huang Xiaoxi on a dating app, she was drugged and sexually assaulted and lost consciousness. Huang Xiaoxi denied the accusation, saying that the woman set up a bureau and extorted 400,000 yuan, and accused him of recording a self-desecration video. Huang Xiaoxi's father, Huang Zhonggai, has reported to the police for intimidation and other crimes, and the woman said that she will report to the police in the future, but she has not reported it because her father is seriously ill. News highlights: Wang's dispute with an Uber driver occurred on April 18 last year. At that time, Wang Dalo's mobile phone fell on the car, and since he couldn't open the Tesla door, he asked the driver for help, but a verbal altercation broke out between the two sides. Wang Dalo was dissatisfied and gave the driver a middle finger and left. Afterwards, he found out the driver's personal information and found someone to follow him, and finally sent someone to beat the driver. Although the driver called the police and provided dashcam evidence, the case did not come to light until the prosecution seized Wang's mobile phone. Uber said it would cooperate with the investigation. News highlights: at about 8 o'clock this morning, a fatal car accident occurred in Wuri District, Taichung City. A 50-year-old female rider was run over by a large truck while passing through the intersection of Wuguang Road and Fuguang 6th Lane. When the police arrived at the scene, they found that the female knight's head was severely ruptured, and she was obviously dead and was not taken to the hospital. It rained heavily in the morning, and whether the cause of the accident was related to the weather is still pending further investigation by the police. News highlights: the standing committees of the new session of the Legislative Yuan held their convocation elections today, 5th, and maintained the previously revealed list. The DPP's National Defense and Foreign Affairs Committee is convened by Shen Boyang. Blue and White continued the cooperation model of the previous session, with the Kuomintang courtesy of the People's Party as a member of the committee, and Lin Qiuchen of the People's Party as a member of the Transportation Committee. The list of members of the other standing committees is as follows: Niu Xuding, Guo, and Zhang Honglu, Min, Internal Affairs Committee, Xia Yifeng, Guo, Cai Yu, Min, Economic Committee, Finance Committee Lai Shipao, Guo, Lai Huiyuan, Min, Wait. News highlights KG Unming, the chief of the DPP Legislative Yuan Caucus, accused Wang Dingyu, a member of the Green Committee, of cooperating with the Blue Camp yesterday, 4th, to support the defense budget. Wang Dingyu responded today, 5th, questioning whether KG Unming had a problem with his cognition, and said that he was angry about the accusation that he did his best to defend the position of the ruling party in the budget review process, but because KG Unming is an elder, he can't bear to be harsh. Wang Dingyu also said that he was more concerned about KG Unming's physical condition. DPP legislator Chen Guanting also expressed respect for President K's hard work. News highlights: in his testimony, U.S. Deputy Secretary of Defense nominee John Corbergy stressed that Taiwan's military spending is far from sufficient and should be close to 10% of GDP to counter the growing threat from China. He noted that he was deeply disturbed by the cutting of military spending by Taiwan's parliament and said that he should learn from South Korea to build a stronger army. Corbergy also stressed that Taiwan's defense should focus on improving its own military capabilities, avoiding unnecessary conflicts with Beijing, and buying more time to deal with the U.S. China military balance. News highlights: artist Wang Delu became famous for starring in My Girlhood, but there have been frequent scandals recently, involving cases such as evading military service and attempted murder. More people familiar with the matter broke the news that Wang Delu may be related to the gang, involved in the usury business, and instructed the younger brother to violently collect debts, and may even participate in abuse. In the course of the investigation, the police found that Wang Delu's mobile phone contained a video of the beating and a record of conversations related to the case, and the prosecutor has launched a further investigation. After Wang Delu was arrested, he was sent to the district prosecutor's office for reinterrogation along with his accomplices. News highlights: TSMC announced an additional $100 billion investment in the United States, which attracted attention. According to Taiwanese security sources, President Lai Ching-te has paid a low-key visit to TSMC founder Zhang Zongmu and Chairman Wei Zhijia to discuss countermeasures. President Lai instructed the executive branch to hold in-depth discussions with relevant ministries and committees, and set up an interministerial team to respond, emphasizing that the national interest should be put first, and that this challenge should be regarded as a historical opportunity to promote Taiwan's development. News highlights: scams in Taiwan are endless, and the latest Line scams have caused many netizens to be stolen. After hacking into the Line account, the scam group uses the friend list to commit fraud, often asking for support on the grounds that children are playing. Once the victim is deceived, the fraudster can steal the account and carry out credit card scheming. Lawyer Lin Heekin revealed that these scams are becoming more and more sophisticated, and victims are often tricked without realizing it, and the account is not cancelled immediately, but is stolen after a delay of several hours. News highlights: the well-known host Cao Kitai debuted for 42 years and has been widely praised for hosting Double Star Annunciation and Good Fortune. However, after moving to Shanghai in 2004, he rarely appeared in Taiwan, and it was rumored that he had moved to the mainland due to debts of 160 million. Although he had paid off his debts within 5 years, the 61-year-old had suffered a stroke. During a live broadcast of writing calligraphy, he revealed that he had a stroke on Chinese New Year's Eve, and lamented that this may be the last time, and called on everyone to write more and keep their memory. News highlights: TSMC announced that it will invest $100 billion in the United States and plans to build 3 wafer fabs, 2 packaging fabs and 1 R&D center. Former President Ma Ying-jeou called on Lai King to stop social internal friction, while the industry reported that TSMC may reduce the construction of its Taiwan plant, especially the Kaohsiung and Chi factories will be transferred to Arizona. In response, TSMC said that Taiwan's investment plan remains unchanged. News highlights: 33-year-old actor Wang Delu, who was arrested last month for a case of desertion involving forged documents, recently instigated a friend surnamed Yu of the rich second generation to beat up an Uber general, and both parties were charged with attempted murder. The incident occurred in April 2024. Wang Delu had a quarrel with the driver and asked Yunnan to deal with it, and as a result, Yun was beaten and slightly injured. Later, Yunnan passed on a video of Wang Delu beating people, and Wang Delu mistakenly thought that Yun Delu would be seriously injured, and he also showed off the film. After investigation by the prosecutors and police, Wang Delu is currently detained and forbidden to see and paid a bail of 5 million yuan, while Yunnan is detained and forbidden to see. News highlights: last year, the actual amount of national tax collection hit a new high, and the Kuomintang advocated that the whole people should pay 10,000 yuan in cash. Kuomintang legislator Lin Defu called on the executive agency to put forward a counter to the bill when questioned, and the premier, Zhou Rongta, said that he would go in this direction, but stressed the need to consider long-term development, and said that the application of taxes will be divided into several directions, including helping those who need it most and strengthening Taiwan's strength. Zhou Rongta also requested that the use of discovery gold as a fixed use case should be avoided. The People's Party stressed that the jury was still undecided, and blue, green, and white had different attitudes towards it. News highlights the Democratic Progressive Party, DPP, recently broke out in a dispute over fraudulent payment of assistant fees, and Lai King issued an order at the Standing Committee of the Central Committee to prohibit party representatives from hiring their spouses and relatives as assistants, but this triggered a grassroots backlash. Kuomintang legislators Si Lungkai and Hsu Xiaojian named many DPP representatives in Taichung City who still hired relatives as assistants, questioning whether last ban was really effective. Xie Qiyang said that if the ban is actually enforced, it should be open to prosecution, and criticized Lai King for choosing to stick to the ban or admit that it is just an empty slogan. News highlights at about 6 o'clock in the morning today. 5. An apartment on Jixian Road, Luzhu District, New Taipei City fell from a building. A 52-year-old man surnamed Zhang died on the spot, and the community security found it and called the police to deal with it. According to the family, the deceased was bullied by a colleague that may have contributed to the incident. The North City Environmental Protection Bureau said it was learning about the details of the incident. The preliminary police inspection did not find any external involvement, and the case is still under investigation. News highlights since Huang Zijiao's number Me Too incident in 2023, due to setbacks in his acting work, the couple's life has been at a low point, and even Meng Zhengru's acting work has been suspended. Last week, Wu Zongxian criticized Huang Zijiao at the wedding. However, on Saturday, March 1, Huang Zijiao and Meng Zhengru appeared in the cafe in the Three Gorges of New Taipei City, where the couple wore pink clothes and had a happy party with friends, smiling, showing that the two had overcome the difficulties and had a harmonious relationship. News highlights Huang Hongxian and He Xian have been in a stable relationship for 3 years, and they were recently directly hit and drove into the residence of Xing Xing for 2 consecutive days, and they are suspected of living together. Huang Hongxian low-key denied the breakup rumors, and publicly showed sweetness many times outside. Their relationship seems to be going well, and the two are often photographed dating and running errands together, and have become one of the couples in the spotlight. News highlights artist Wang Delu is suspected of instigating his friend Yu Xiongmin to beat up a taxi driver, and because he is dissatisfied with the quality of Uber's delivery, the two were banned from seeing him for the crime of injury. Wang Delu paid 5 million yuan in bail this morning. According to reports, Wang Delu is related to gangsters, suspected of loan sharking, and once instructed his younger brother to violently collect debts. Yu Xiongmin is a rich second generation, who has been in a relationship with actress Lin Qunyu, and has a close relationship with many celebrities in the entertainment industry. This incident has aroused social concern and discussion. News highlights actress Xie Kaiwen, KZ, and her new boyfriend Hank Chao are in love, and the two do not shy away from sweet interactions. On February 22, KZ and Hank walked hand in hand on the streets of Taipei City, went to watch the concert, and held hands and hugged intimately after the meeting. After KZ was recognized by fans, she still took a group photo cordially. The two seem to have progressed to the stage of cohabitation, and they hitchhiked back to the man's residence that night, and their lives were sweet. In response, Keiko says that Hank is the person she is getting along. News highlights the mainland short drama male god He Jiankai was banned because of the leg-splitting scandal. On March 3, it was revealed that he shared a bed with his girlfriend, and the next day he took another woman to open a room, which immediately sparked social discussions. On the 4th, the official listed him as a bad artist, announced the ban, and said that he would supervise the skit actors and resist unethical behavior. He Jiankai originally planned to enter the long drama market, but he was changed due to a scandal, and his 2-year acting career ended in an instant, which shocked netizens. News highlights Japanese artist Mai Sato will divorce Wang Quanran of Formosa Plastics Group in 2023 and publicly reveal the reason for the marriage change for the first time. Mai revealed that the relationship between the two was rapidly frozen after 3 years of marriage, especially after she gave birth to a child, and the relationship between the husband and wife became estranged. Mai said that she put all her energy into her children and had no time to take care of her ex-husband's emotional needs, which eventually led to the breakdown of the marriage. After the divorce, she and Wang Quanran reached a consensus on co-parenting, and the relationship improved. Mai is currently a single mother and actively balances work and childcare life.